is it that you want to do? Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Mania 4-Key World Cup 2025. We are back with a winner's bracket matchup here for you today in the round of 16. It is going to be our 8th seed, Canada, taking on our 9th seed, Russia. We're going to see if they can make it to the quarterfinals in the winner's bracket. As always, my name is Sparky, and I am joined in the commentary booth this time around by none other than Mashed Potato. How's it going, man?
Very good. And just look at the seeding, the 8 and 9. This is as close as you can see right here. And the skill set of these two teams are just night and day difference. Canada, they are the top 3 Rice team in here. They have so many good Rice players. They can just get freeway V1SS on some of the maps here, potentially. On the other hand, you've got the more well-rounded side of Russian Federation. They have really no weak spots. In my opinion, any map is going to be highly contested against the side of Russian Federation. They have improved so much compared to last year, and they're here to make a statement, to be able to make it into the quarterfinals winners bracket. And I think this might be the first time Russia might make it into the winners quarterfinals. You can correct me, chat, if I'm wrong, but this might be a historic matchup for both of these nations. I'm really excited to see.
Yeah, this is definitely one I think people saw the schedule come out, probably circling it as like the marquee matchup. And it's already pretty hotly contested. The roll is 59-58. Canada winning it out, getting the first protect, and gonna opt to protect Rice too. So sticking to the vein of the more Rice focus we've been alluding to for the Canadians. And we'll have to see what Russia decides to protect in response. LN3 going to be the response. So unsurprising so far, maybe playing a little bit more to what we were expecting as opposed to last weekend where it felt like a lot of teams were just primarily diving into that upper half of the map pool. And the ban is going to be Rice 5.
Ooh, this is like kind of vibe, the more like vocal, the vibe mapping kind of Rice pick. Not as traditional as the other picks, so maybe they're not too comfortable with kind of the dumpy side of things. They prefer some more straightforward, like maybe Rice 2, Rice 1, Rice 3, and potentially some Rice 4 picks as well. And Canada is going to ban Hybrid 3. As expected, to be honest. This is like long note, as similar to long note 3 compared to like for Hybrid 3, and is super staggered in terms of releases, so expected for both sides, I think, for both bans and picks. No surprises here, and Canada is going to have their first pick, and I expect it's going to be something like Rice 4, in my opinion. It's always a good starting pick.
Yeah, I could see that. I could also see maybe something like a Rice 3 coming out here, maybe just going straight for the protect as well on the cards. I mean, there's definitely some very viable comfort picks in terms of what Canada can go for in that upper half of the pool. It really just depends on what they kind of want to get their feet wet. Do you want to kind of hold Russia's feet to the fire in terms of picking something that's a little bit harder? Rice 6 may be an outside consideration for a potential first pick if you really wanted to get a little spicy with it. But when all is said and done, it really is just pick of the litter for the Canadians on that side of the pool.
I think whatever both Canada or Russia picks, that is tiebreaker. Foreshadowing.
Maybe.
Foreshadowing 15 minutes from now. But whatever. We got the scripts already. It's gonna be tiebreaker. Canada wins all the Rice pick, Russia wins all the LN picks and hybrids, and that's that.
That's that.
Wraps it. Oh, okay. They're going with Kojak. Okay, so you're kind of right on the money there. They're going with kind of straight off the bat. Just want to go tango o mano against Russia. We're comfortable with accuracy, and we'll pick the most accuracy oriented map because we can get the freeway full combo and we can out accuracy you. That's how I feel when teams picks Rice 3 as the first pick.
Yeah, this is very much a double-edged sword kind of a pick where we have seen some absolutely incredible performances on Rice 3 so far this tournament already, and I feel like this weekend's going to be no different, but it also lends itself to some volatility where if you find the singular miss, that could really be the make or break point if your opponent is actually up to the task. Don't trade any of those misses back. Sometimes a three-way FC with maybe some damage to the accuracy can see yourself through over some high sharpshooting 300 counts and a couple of misses. So a comfort pick, but the overlap between the two teams might be a little closer than we might be expecting. So we'll have to wait to see who will come in to contest on this. Probably see the 3-4 Canada May, unsurprising, pretty much the anchor for Canada on the rice picks. Very physically capable of handling this kind of BPM. Sawdust Inhaler and the man 234 Tonk as well. We just have to wait to see who comes in for Russia here.
Probably, I'm guessing. They've been playing a mix of rice and hybrids from like the past rice picks from last week. We'll have to see. Okay, as expected, Crimson was going to come in, and we're going to be seeing newbie Noobko, who's actually known as Riftoryu, but also known as Nepko. So whichever way you know this player, but I'll call them Nepko, Noobko, and of course Distire. These two players, Nepko and Distire, has been like the main players within Russian Federation. They have been kind of around for a while, and they've been on the leaderboards as well. So in terms of accuracy, they can match Canada, so they can definitely put up a really good fight. And Canada has to be careful. This map has a lot of miss potential. It's not like you can get like 5-6 miss all in one measure, but it's about getting that singular miss, and that could just be it when it comes to a lineup this stacked.
For sure. And I mean, with this particular Korjak pick in this round, yes, the BPM's much higher, but I feel like traditionally players expect it to just be like a constant like 1-2 barrage at that BPM. This map has so many little flourishes here and there of like quick 1/8, 1/6 little nuances here and there when the map really starts to get a little bit more melodic, that can really throw off your tempo if you're not the most comfortable. If you're already straining to maintain the BPM, you start adding those extra little things to throw you off your rhythm. That might be the tipping point for some of the players in this lobby. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to wait. I think in the meantime, I just want to like appreciate the fact that like we might be seeing potentially 999Ks. Like just now in the match against Canada versus Vietnam, very similar seeding compared to Canada and Russia. So we saw a 2.997 million. So that's the average of 999K on the side of Thailand. So these sorts of scores is going to happen, and despite that, I'm still going to be surprised just because these players are absolutely insane. We have come so far just to be able to see like 999Ks on like every single match, and I've loved that. Oh, actually, we're gonna be seeing a substitution. Maybe Nuko is going to be replaced. I'm not sure by who. Probably you, maybe.
Yeah, waiting to see. Mania Gamer.
What a gamer! What a gamer! That's the most appropriate name for this matchup.
Genuinely, yes. It's literally as dead on the money as you can get in this particular context.
It's so funny because that's their original name. Like they made their account with that name on.
Amazing.
They were destined. They were destined to play Osumania.
Just the absolute gamer here. So we'll have to wait and see if that is going to be the finalized roster here for the Russians, and looks like it is gonna get on in here before too long. First map of this best of 9 here. First team to 5 points will be moving on to the winners quarterfinals. Loser not out of it just yet. Just gonna need to make that run in the losers bracket. So very excited to see how this one goes. This could really set the tone for the rest of the match, depending on how it goes.
Yeah, but you do not want to be sent down to the losers bracket, considering there has been quite a lot of upsets. So there are so many good teams that's already been pushed down to the losers bracket. Oh, Indonesia and Brazil from last weekend, and now we got Thailand as well in the losers bracket. So you do not want to be in the losers bracket.
Yeah, just a lot of sharks lingering down in the waters there, but as it stands, strong starts for all 6 players in this lobby through the introduction, about to cross over that 400 combo cap, and you start to see those little flourishes inside of the heavy core jack emphasis, very 3-note oriented in terms of how the density really layers itself out as the map progresses. Going into the second quarter of the map, Canada holding on to this slender 1,500 point lead by virtue of all three of their players being above that 99.9% accuracy. Mania Gamer falling a little bit behind in terms of the pace between everybody else, down below that 99.7 mark, and I imagine that's going to be the bare minimum as Distire falls on the side of the Russians. 1FC gone for their side, immediately balloons the lead over to the Canadians to the tune of about 10,000 points going into the back half of the map now.
Yeah, the Canadians really show why this is their protect pick and why they're going straight off the bat this sort of map for their first pick. And now they're just showing it full force right now. 99.91% is the lowest accuracy on Canada. And that accuracy beats out this time, who is the leading accuracy on the side of Russian Federation right now. So this score lead is just absolutely big, considering this is a jack map as well. So I think this will take at least two misses on the side of Canada for Russia to even take this back. But it's not looking likely. Wait, hold on! Hold on! We have a miss. That was quite a disgusting drop, actually. From 99.91 down to 0.83. The score is down to 7,000, so one more miss. That's all they need.
Yeah, chops the lead in basically half for the Canadians, but still holding on to that cushion by virtue of the fact that it's still a really hefty supporting score from May and Sawdust Inhaler, and managing to hold on despite that little blemish there at the very end. Canada hangs on to make it 1-0. Those are some disgusting scores from May and Sawdust Inhaler. 63 and 70 with the black flag there from May. Impressive stuff. I mean, Crimsorol and Mania Gamer doing pretty well in their own right. 992k, very nice. And even with the miss, Distire with the highest or the lowest 300 count, 57, but that miss just tanking their score. Might have thrown in some fireworks there at the end, but unfortunately not going to be the case here, as Russia now up to pick for their first pick.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think you just have to move on. This is their protect. They were comfortable with it. It is what it is. You just gotta move on. And so it's Russia to pick, and I'm seeing Ellen free, and yeah, Ellen free is going to be picked. You're gonna trade your protects for another protects, and this is also another expected pick. Could have seen Ellen 2, oh sorry, Ellen 1 as well. But yeah, we're going to be seeing anti-safety zone. First time I'm going to cast over on this one. I haven't seen anti-safety zone hasn't been picked in other matches. I might be wrong, but we'll have to check. But we're going to be seeing Riftoyu, so that's Robot, if you've known his other aliases. And probably going to be seeing Nepco coming in as well, or Noobco. On the other hand, May and Sawdust Inhaler is going to be staying, and I'm going to be seeing Zeppelin. Is that... Oh, Zeppelin's on the side of Russia, I think.
Yeah, just getting people into the lobby here leads to some little shenanigans.
Yeah. Huh. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be Nemesis coming in for Canada, considering Nemesis is their kind of Ellen hybrid specialist. I'll be surprised if it's gonna be anyone else.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe some decisions being made here. See the comments from Sawdust Inhaler that this is the only map they haven't played today. Probably practiced it, but maybe just not warmed up on it. And maybe a double switch, seeing if somebody else wants to step in for them. That's just speculation. We'll just have to wait and see. But hopefully we get that, at least the third player visible here before too long.
Tonk. Okay, that's quite interesting. I would thought it would be Nemesis, LSN Nemesis, but I think this is also that's the nice thing about the Canadian team, is that I think everyone in kind of the core players, the likes of May, Sawdust, and the man 234 Tonk, they're all pretty well rounded. So they can play literally anything you give them that's within their physicality.
Yeah, and it is still well within their comfort zone, I believe, in this like early shifting into mid-game kind of a map pool. They can definitely swing a pretty good team score overall, see if they can get that first breakpoint, or if Russia can maintain parity here. This is their protect, so we expect them to, or we're hoping that they can show out about as well as Canada did on their first pick. That being said, Canada's protect is still in their back pocket. Rice 2 is still on the board, so future considerations for them as we get on with the second map of this best of 9, LM3 Anti-Safety Zone.
Yeah, this is anti-safety for sure, because you're gonna be seeing a lot of breaks throughout this map, and this time, right there on the dot, breaks. That's not who you want to see. That is the main carry of the side, Russian Federation, and this is their protect. You do not want to see that happening. But it's still quite early onto the map. There's still chances for you to come back, and this time missed quite early on, so it's actually not as bad as most people might think. So as long as this star climbs their accuracy up, oh, but definitely with a miss right there, and now the score is 10,000 points. It's getting tougher and tougher as the map progresses. We're only a third way through the map, and there's already 2 misses. A long struggle on the side of Russian Federation, which is quite surprising considering it's their protectors.
Yeah, just not playing to their level at the moment, and Canada taking full advantage, 13,000 points as we cross our way into the back half of the map. May finding a drop on the syncopated section here, gonna help maybe give some points back on over to the Russians, but a pretty clean drop overall, just bringing themselves down to around the level of Zeppelin, so able to neutralize their score, 1 miss apiece between the 2 of them. But Canada still holding on to the 2 FCs between Sawdust Inhaler and Tonk on the lower side of the lobby, able to kind of keep things in check for the Canadians. But now Russia has some combo built back up, Desire from that early drop, and now Zeppelin as well, lending some supporting score. If they can start increasing their accuracy, they could potentially start making some inroads here on this lead, but they need to get over the accuracy of Sawdust Inhaler, 99.8, highest in the lobby here, crossing into the last quarter of the map here, helping to extend this lead for the Canadians. Not really much Russia is doing wrong at this point here. It's really just the overperformance from this dynamic duo on the bottom of the Canadian lobby, seeing them through here. An eighth of the map still left to go here. Anything can still happen at this point.
And they're just crushing all of the long-lost wicket. As soon as I said that, the miss of Sawdust Inhaler. There's a chance. There's a chance. There's still so much. There's still 100,000 worth of score left.
Oh, that was Tonk!
That's it. That's all Russia needed. The score is going straight back to Russia.
Oh my god.
There it is. There it is. As long as Russia holds it, there's enough time.
Get back over.
They did. Oh. And that's that. 2,069 points is the difference. Nice indeed. Nice for Russian Federation. And they got the points. A godsend from the side of Canada with a double miss from Sawdust Inhaler and the man 234 Tonk. And they got the point. It was a struggle, but a point is a point. And the Russian Federation moves on. Decent score throughout the board. Everyone's above 980k. No, the only person gained the FC is Rift Toyu, and that FC was needed. Without that FC, that would have been it for the side of Russian Federation. They didn't have the accuracy lead, but they do have the combo lead, and that was the difference. And that is so exciting. And now we're tied 1-1. Now it's basically a best of 7. Canada's to pick.
Yeah, silent MVP going over to Rift Oyu. The one person that went unmentioned in that entire run holds on to the FC. May doing their best as well, but unfortunately not gonna be enough. And Canada going straight for their protect in response in Rice 2. And I mean, this is a pretty good one. If I feel like they might be a little disappointed they couldn't hold on to that potential break point, but I mean, they still have so many good Rice picks to go into. But I mean, Russia did look pretty scary on that Rice 3, bar the singular miss. Desire did have the highest, the lowest 300 count of anybody in the lobby on that performance. So, I mean, if Russia can keep it clean to the level of Canada and just avoid any drops, this could potentially get a lot riskier. The water's a little muddier for Canada in terms of the confidence in their picks. So, gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, we're gonna be seeing newbie Nuko coming in instead of Osumania Gamer. I just saw the chat earlier that Osumania Gamer did have to play at 2 a.m. So not really the most good schedule. Not the most fun. I think it's just one of those things where it's just a time zone issue. Especially when it comes to the Russian Federation. They have so many different time zones. Like you either have like a EU-like time zone, so those in Moscow, but then you got those far on the right, and they're more like Australian time zone. or in one
Basically,
country.
yeah.
And so I think that's just what's happening. And someone just has to suffer. In this case, it's going to be Osumania Gamer having to play at 2 a.m. So I think it's a decent substitution. Maybe Osumania Gamer is a better gamer, well, Rice player, but not at this condition. So seeing Noobco coming in, that makes sense. Oh, actually, this tire is going to be subbed out. Okay, maybe probably going to be Osumania Gamer or Crimsoro.
Yeah, this is definitely a bit of a switch up compared to Rice 3 from earlier. Crimsoro coming back in, so maybe just some deliberations, wanting to ensure that whoever feels the most confident in it can be in. I mean, that's the game within the game. It feels like sometimes whenever it comes to 3v3s, it's like, yes, all 6 of you can play it, but which 3 of you at this specific moment can play it to an optimal level? Because it has to be the best. If not, then I mean, what are we doing here? But I mean, this is Canada's Protect. We expect them to show up and show out on this particular pick. They did very well on Rice 3, their first pick in this match. See if they can mirror that performance, or if Russia has something to say about it as we get on underway.
Yeah, Crimson with a bit of a rough start to begin with. A couple of 200s, but again, we saw in previous picks, a bad start doesn't mean too much as long as you can hold all the way to the end. And with 3 minutes of just 240 BPM dense jump streams, there's a lot of missed potential. And previously when you saw the match against Thailand and Vietnam, it was the one miss that ended the match between Thailand and Vietnam. So anything could potentially happen. But just look at that accuracy on the side of Canada. I mean, you might have to pinch your nose because it is disgusting.
Absolutely, you can literally just fit all 3 of them inside of like a postage stamp and have all 3 of them covered in terms of how close they are in terms of relative team cohesion. That being said, Russia not too far behind. Every 100% that Crimson climbs starts to chip away at that Canadian advantage. It's only 2,500 points for the moment, and there's still plenty of map. We're only done with the first minute. 2 minutes left of this to contend with, and yes, you do start to get into a tiny bit of a flow state before too long, but any little deviation, any little hesitation on a map this fast, and it's just lights out for the overall score, for the individual performance. And as we continue on, going into the second third now, back half the map upcoming, we take stock of the situation. Nepco able to maintain pace, like 200 there, gonna drop him down about a tenth of a percent. Now Rifto, he was picking up the slack here, 99.9, trying to contest against the lowest accuracy from the Canadians, which is Sawdust Inhaler, 99.92%. But overall team score difference, a tenth of a percent between the two countries, only 4,000 points between them at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, just look at that. Everyone, this lobby is just so stacked. This is what you're. Oh, but maybe with a miss.
Oh,
wait, right at the break as well. Wait, right at the break. So actually, this is looking good for the side of Russian Federation. They can capitalize on this. The score lead, I don't think it's gonna go to the side of Russian Federation, but it's gonna reset back to kind of the midpoint. May has to be very careful. This might be a disaster. This might be a breakpoint if they're not careful. But still, it's just this accuracy. They're back, but just look at that accuracy. That miss means nothing. They're still 99.9. That's still above literally everyone else on the side of Russian Federation. This is the accuracy diff. This is the accuracy diff that we're looking at right now. Canada just so confident at the standard Rice pick, but it's still extremely close. So anything can possibly happen. Rift tell you, Crimson, newbie Noobco. They're doing everything.
It's shifting.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sawdust Inhaler dropped out the accuracy down to 99.89. The score lead is only at 3 digits for Crimson. Oh no.
Oh, they were hanging on for dear life there. 11th hour miss. It was starting to flicker back and forth. It was getting contentious, but at the end of the day, Canada sees it through to the end, defends their Protect with all their might, and manages to make a 2-1 here. Oh my goodness. And that's what I was saying. If Russia can just keep a run clean all the way to the end, the pressure was being put on there. They were starting to maybe wrangle it back their way, but just not able to see it through to the end. And if you're Canada, you see that and you're just like, wait, are these picks as safe, dare I say, quote unquote, as we thought they were?
None of them are safe. We see so far, like. even Russia's protects. Actually, the last two picks were two protects that was super heavily contested.
Yeah. The two safe picks are the two most volatile picks we've had so far. The last second swing over to Russia on LN3 and the near fumble from Canada on Rice 2. And Russia wasting no time. Hybrid 2 going to be the pick, so Virtual Resort gonna be the pivot for them. I mean, unsurprising still, it's in that hybrid LN range. Definitely does play to their advantage, but with the hybrids, you start to get into that conversation of, okay, is it LN heavy enough that keeps us in the front and on the front foot, or does it have enough Rice elements that we might might give an olive branch over to the Canadians and they can maybe out-hack us on it? So maybe the lesser of two evils. I mean, you have to rip the band-aid off before too long, so...
And I think, just to look at the map in general, I do think out of the two hybrids, this is the better hybrid to pick on the side of Russian Federation. This is much more LN orientated, and the Jackson there as well is really technical. This is like a technical LN hybrid pick, and I think there is a lot of missed potential in this one. So we'll see who's going to be coming in. I'm expecting no substitution on the side of Canada, considering Nemesis did not play in LN3, so I wouldn't expect Nemesis to come in either. So I think Canada, they have their A team right here. May, Sawdust Inhaler, and the man 234 Tonk. On the other hand, we're going to be seeing Zeppelin, Newbie Nuko, and Distar, as expected, similar to this lineup in LN3. So they both have their A teams on this map. Highly contested match right here. Let's see if the side of Russian Federation can tie 2-2 on its Citrus Virtual Resort.
This is the apex pick right here. This is where we could potentially turn a corner on this match. Very important pick for Russia to maintain the parity here, because after this, I mean, with how close these two countries are, you really cannot afford to slip on your own picks. So, gonna have to wait and see the good lucks coming out here. So it will be these 6 players on screen. No last second shenanigans here this time around as we check on into our virtual resort. Gonna be this 4th map.
Let's see if it's let's see if they're going to get a good break on this resort, or it's going to be a hellscape for either of these teams. So far so good. Definitely with a bit of a rough start. It's kind of been actually Sawdust and Hater with the first miss. It's really early on. It's before the 400 combo break, so it's actually not as I said before, not as disastrous. But both of these countries, they need to stop this kind of early breaks, early bad judgments. It's not good, considering how close the lead has been for both these countries. Like any bad drops, even at the start of the map, could spell disaster.
Yeah, you don't want the map to theoretically be over within the first 100 nodes, but as things stand, I mean, this is not the longest map by any stretch of the imagination, just over 2 minutes, so that's gonna be the bulk of the lead, the cushion that Russia has to work with, that 4,000 points off of Sawdust Inhaler's early drop. As you mentioned, before that 400 combo cap, so not the most damaging in the world, and we already see Canada starting to chip away at it. As things stand, both May and Tonk in that 99.8 range. Sawdust Inhaler about to go back up over that 99.7 mark as well. Gonna be basically canceling out Zephelin's score, and the only difference being that singular drop at this point. But if you're Russia, you can't afford to find any slip-ups in this last third here. Can they hang on here?
I think I saw a couple of bad drops from the Newbie Nuko right there. Down to 99.74. They were at the high 90s, 99.7s actually. Now the score is down to 2,000. Russia, you cannot let this slip away from your hand. You got the miss. They need to hold together as much as they can. I'm looking at Zeppelin, who was struggling a bit on the LN3, but they're doing as much as they can right now, holding that full combo. But is that enough? Sawdust Inhaler is running as much as they can, but now Nuko with the miss was traded by Tonk. Wait!
Oh,
hold on.
At the very end.
There's still a bit more of the map. I think it is. There's still some more jacks, and that's that. Russia is going to take away. That was heart-wrenching. If you're on the side of Canada, they thought they could have got the point right there. The screen just flickered, just a flash of red bar right there on the side of Canada, but then as soon as you saw it, the man 234 Tong just missed his. Well, actually, there was no miss. It's just free 50s right there, and that just pushes the lead right back to Russian Federation. And now we're even again. It's 2-2.
Yeah, that felt like maybe just one of those chords at the end, maybe just catching them out, just either a rush or just a really late release on one of them being their undoing. The fact that it counted as a miss as well, being enough to swing it back over to the Russians. But heart and mouth moments, I mean, these are not easy points these teams are getting, but so far no break points have been given over either way. So on the surface, I mean, everything's going according to plan. You're winning your picks, you're doing what you need to, but oh boy, the micro story, when you really get down to the nitty gritty, it could very easily be 4-0 one way or the other, or maybe 3-1. 3-1 might be a fairer score. If things stayed as dynamic as they have been.
Yeah, it could be 4-0, could be 3-1. Could be anything at this point. Like the possibilities are endless, and Canada. Speaking of endless possibilities, it's not for Canada right now. They only have 3 rice picks to go, and they're not easy. You got the more straightforward pick of rice 1, and they're gonna go with rice 4. I think that's a pretty good pick. It's going to be your tech pick, Winnipeg as mandatory. I think that's a pretty decent pick. This has a lot of miss potential.
Yeah, this is definitely drifting away from the conventional picks that we have seen Canada go for. Rice 3, Rice 2 being those, like, I guess everybody knows how to play kind of picks. And then you get into, like, okay, can you handle these more, or rather less rigid kind of picks where you're just being asked, can you handle the technicality? Can you handle the raw physical nature of some of these picks? And Rice 4 is a pretty good introduction to that in this match.
Yeah, that's for sure. And we're going to be seeing, hopefully, probably Nuko, Crimsoro, or this tire, or also Mania Gamer, or there's quite a lot of players on the side of Russian Federation that can come in substitution. And as you said before, it's just the minute kind of slight score difference. Maybe who did better in practice, or who's feeling good at the moment. It's just that. And on the side of Canada, it's just 3 pillars of Canada right there. You got May, Sawdust Inhaler, and the man 234. I think I'm gonna pose a question this down the line, maybe 7 maps in, 8 maps in. Canada, they still have the same 3 players. Is there gonna be some sort of, I don't know, like fatigue? Like, if you go to tiebreaker and all 3 players have been playing the same maps for 8 maps, have been playing in the same roster 8 maps in a row, there could be potential fatigue chances right there. Maybe, I'm just putting this out there, maybe they might consider putting other players in with the LN picks. That's just a thought, but we'll have to wait and see. We're still waiting for the 3rd player on the side of Russian Federation. I'm expecting Crimswell. Jay going to be Rift to you. Okay. I don't hate this. This is a good lineup.
Yeah, I feel like everybody on these 2 rosters that we have seen so far have been more than up to the task. And like you were alluding to earlier, just who in the moment is feeling it. But to touch on the question about the fatigue from Canada, if this were maybe like quarters or semis, I feel more inclined to say that maybe some fatigue might start wearing in. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see some substitutions from them on maybe later Russian LN hybrid picks. But we'll just have to wait and see. That will be a very interesting point to touch on, depending on how this roster permutates through these next couple of picks. But for right now, moving on into our 5th map, it is going to be some Venetian Snares action, our first Rice Tech pick of the match.
Yeah, I think Venetian Snares, you either expect them to be like a jump stream map or like a really just tough technical picks, and this is going to be the tough technical picks. Everyone's doing quite well so far, all above 99.9. Just the sharpshooter accuracy all across the board right here. No issues whatsoever, no bad starts, as we saw in the previous pick. They're just straight off the batter, 99.9 on everyone. And here we go. some more dense jump streams, but everyone's still handling really well. This is 245 BPM. Wow, no breaks on that stream section right there.
Yeah, this map just accentuated by these long anchors, these buzz roll-esque staircases left and right as things begin to get denser, but I mean...
It's flickering. It is flickering right now. The man for Tong actually, I think, got quite a few 200s on that Rose at around 800, 900 combo mark earlier. So now the score lead is actually flickering. As long as if things hold like this, it's going to get super interesting at the end. Because the ending of this map is just tough. There will be some misses, or at least there'll be some combo or some accuracy drop. There is no way everyone holds 99.8 plus.
Right on cue. I mean, you were saying there's no way all 6 players make it through unscathed, and Victoria being the one to find the drop going into the last third does give Canada a bit more of a cushion, because it was a fierce tug of war going into the back half of the map here. Now 8,000 points just starting to pull away by virtue of May and Sawdust Inhaler pulling onto this 99.9s. Victoria finding another drop here. The only one that has found a miss so far, but it is only helping increase this Canadian lead. These trills starting to run out here as we are going into the last 8th of the chart. The buzz is starting to come through as well. Everybody making it through relatively unscathed, a couple of hundreds here and there, but as things stand, it only gets denser from here to this ending, and it is 14,000 points in favor of the Canadians going into the last sections of this chart.
Hold on to your feet. Look at that. Everyone's still holding a full combo except for Victoria, but Victoria still accuracy up to 99.7, but I don't think that's enough for the side of Russian Federation, and Canada is going to get their 3rd point. And just look at that accuracy for May and Sawdust Inhaler. I think that's 99.9. Oh, both of them getting a black flag with 1 200. This time with 2 200s. And just look at that. Everyone in this lobby has such low 200 counts. The most I can see is 4 200s. 4. And that's that. It's 4. It's just 4. On this sort of pick. 245 BPM, by the way. With a lot of disgusting rolls and mini jacks. And yet, the most is 4. Yeah, this is the sort of caliber you see on the round 16 winners bracket, seed 8 against seed 9, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, it's living up to the billing so far. Neither team batting an eye, giving an inch on their picks so far. Yes, some scary moments, but able to work it through in the end, hanging on just enough to see their points through. And I mean, Russia has to pick once again. They have the option of LN1 or Hybrid 1 here.
Yeah. You know, this is actually the first pick we saw so far that has a 5-digit score lead. Every other pick up until this point has been decided by just one singular miss or just slight accuracy difference. So maybe we start to see some new changes in here. Maybe the Canadian side, they're more comfortable with these more rougher technical picks. Who knows? But now it's going to be Russian Federation. They're going to have a timeout potentially. They're asking for a timeout. They have not agreed on it just yet.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it'll get applied after the 2-minute pick timer. So, needless to say, I think we can safely assume that we're gonna be in for a bit of an extended wait here. Maybe just taking some time to deliberate. Maybe kind of shake the hands out, because I mean, Rice 4 is a very rough pick to have to play through after everything. Touching back on that topic of like fatigue. I mean, yes, Canada haven't changed their roster out for a number of picks now, but I mean, Russia as well, needing to have their top players be in for some of these picks as well, starts to ask questions of them, and needing to like, okay, just slow the pace down a little bit, take some time to really think of what this late match strategy is going to be.
That's for sure. And actually, this is good. I would like to, while we're waiting for the timeout, I'm just looking at the bracket, potentially what could happen, right? And the loser of this match is going to be in the same kind of bracket for quarterfinal as the losers of, as the winner of the match, Germany and Indonesia, who is seed 11, but they have the top 3 MWC 2023 core roster of Rei, Adiza, and Albert. So that is in the losers bracket. What awaits them in the losers bracket? Of course, the loser of China and Malaysia is going to join them in that same branch as well. And France has booked their ticket in there as well. So just one of those teams is going to make through in that bracket, so you do not want to lose this matchup because, as I said before, the bracket is getting really dense. And actually, Russia is going to pick long note 2. I thought they would have gone for long note 1. I'll be honest, I was expecting long note 1 or hybrid 1, maybe. But definitely long note 1's the more preferred pick in my opinion, but long note 2 is okay, I guess. But I would say, like, long note 2 is more, I would say the most, like, rice player friendly Ellen pick compared to the other ones, because there's not a lot of release, not a lot of release parts. It's really just being able to read the inverse patterns and the density sections, and it's only 196 BPM as well, so it's not that difficult to hit. And we're actually going to see the first substitution on the side of Canada. Robert is going to replace the man 234 Tonk, and the side of Russia Federation, the same long note lineup we have saw in the past two LN picks. The past two LN picks. Zeppelin, Distar, and Newbie Nubco.
Yeah, so maybe answering that question for us of, are all three of these players going to be in here for the long haul? But nice to know that they do have some players to shift on into, and Robert's a pretty good shift for this particular pick. Like you were saying, this one not the most release heavy, and I guess to that point of like rice player friendly, we mean like 1/4 releases, very fair on the eyes. Just being able to read 196 BPM density is like the bare minimum to scrape through a score on this. So you have to wait and see if can step up to the plate, or if Russia can continue this parity that we've been on, just being able to make it 3-3 and make this a bona fide best of 5?
Best of 3? Best of 3, yeah, best of 3.
That's insane.
Yeah, it sure is insane. And so let's go with this. A classic song, by the way, Aragami. I think this song has been around in the rhythm game scene for like a whole decade already, if I remember correctly. This song is as old as time. And here we go. Straight off the bat, Robert with a slight accuracy drop down to 98.9 actually, but it's only at the start of the map, as said before, so there's a lot of chance for Robert to bring back, but that's not looking good for the side of Canada, but it's definitely great if you're supporting the side of Russian Federation. Everyone on Russia right now is above 99.7. This tire, as expected, is leading the charts with a near 99.9, being matched by Sawdust and Haley as well. It's all eyes on Robert right now, because Robert has shown some sign of struggle on these LN patterns, but they have gained the accuracy up to 99.5, so there's still chances for Canada to take this breakpoint.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, we take the accuracy drops at the beginning over just bona fide misses. All 6 FCs still left on the board here, and with Robert starting to regain some of that accuracy, for every 10th that they climb back up, they can start to really bring those back into the equation, already rising up to contest against the likes of Zeppelin. We already have Sawdust and Haler and May on the other side, basically locking down their respective counterparts as well. With a third of the map still left to go, I mean, Canada's making some really serious inroads, but as this next drop comes through, it's going to be Zeppelin finding the first drop for the Russians, and it's going to swing the lead back on over to Canada. 2,000 points. This is not a safe lead by any stretch of the imagination. A trade this late on could swing it right back on over, but it is a major cushion that Canada has to work with now, especially with Robert now back up into 99.6 range, ahead of Zeppelin in the accuracy as well. Going to help stave off any potential advantages now that they're back up over that 400 combo cap. 5,000 points to lead now for Canada going into this outro. Is this going to be the first break point in this match? The last couple of notes begin to rain on down through, and it's going to be Canada pick up the first break point in this match to make it 4-2 here.
That miss was everything. That miss was the miss that could have potentially lost the Russian Federation this game, because just look at the score now. It's 4-2. Canada just has one more pick and they could win this match with 5-2. They are one pick away. It is match point for Canada right now. And just look at that. Sawdust and Haler with a V1SS 995k on LN2. I mean, that's just insane. This time, just closely matching up against that. I think the top 2 players, they're matching against each other. It's just the bottom player, Robert, managed to hold the full combo, and that was the difference. And what a substitution. Being called on a key junction and being able to full combo and win your country the point, the match point as well. What a good substitution made on side of Canada.
Absolutely. So now just waiting to see what Canada's next pick is going to be. I mean, there's two routes they can go down. They can keep going down this like tech style pick, Rice 6, or they can go back to the more conventional like high speed stream pick in Rice 1. It really just depends on what they want to go for here. But I mean, they've looked, I'd say their team score on the tech picks have been way more convincing than those of like the Core Jack and Core Stream picks from earlier on, especially now that they're warmed up. I mean, they can really put a nice little bow on things here, but it's gonna be Rice 1.
Okay. I kind of don't like this. I would prefer seeing Rice 6 being picked here, considering they did super well on Rice 4, and Rice 6 is pretty similar to that.
I mean, maybe they know something that we don't, but
yeah,
I mean,
that's for sure.
If they can, I mean, we know that they're more physically capable of handling something like this, but it's just, again, just handing that olive branch over to your opponents of, can you guys match this as well? Gotta make sure that you don't have any mistakes going into this as well. You don't want to give that breakpoint back on over, but at the very least, they can rest assured knowing that they have tiebreaker at the very least secured here.
That's for sure. But they want to end this as soon as possible. You do not want to go to tiebreaker. That's the last thing you want as Canada. I think also there's just the idea of momentum as well. I think winning a point to go to tiebreaker would get you a lot more hyped than not being able to close the match on time. And they have 2 breakpoints. They have 2 match points to do this, and this is the most important one. This is their final pick. This decides basically if they're going to go to tiebreaker or not. And on the side of Russian Federation, you're going to be seeing expected lineup of Distire, Nutko, and Crimsoro. Canada, your ace lineup of May, Sawdust, Inhaler, and the Man 234 Tom, replacing Robert from the previous Long 2, and we see the good luck have fun on the chat. We're probably going to go straight into the 7th pick of this match and potentially the final pick.
Yeah, if I always like to say in situations like this where you have the breakpoint going into a match point, that last point is always the hardest one to get. So Canada, you want to close this out as soon as humanly possible. You don't want this match to go any longer than necessary. But here we go. Can Russia get that breakpoint back here?
Have to wait and see. We just have to wait and see. So far, quite a calm start, so everyone's doing quite well, as expected. Some long notes in some Rice in Rice 1 as well, of course, as expected. And here we go. Oh, this time with a really rough start already. Again, it's just the beginning. There's still a lot more chances for the start to take it back. But it's pick against Canada. How much do you want to bet on the fact that Canada is going to get a couple of misses?
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but with how clean they've looked on these Rice picks overall, there's very few mistakes between them on all of the runs that they've gone into so far. And right now, nursing about a 5,000 point lead going into this chorus here. I mean, all 3 of their players very balanced, 99.8s between all of them to start doing very well to bring themselves back into the equation, though, from that earlier drop back to match in that 99.8-ish range. And right now, it really just all eyes fall on Crimsoro, trying to see if they can bring up their accuracy as well. If they can bring it back up maybe about 0.5%, they can start making some inroads in this Canadian lead. But for right now, it is only stretched to a tune of about 10,000 points with a third of the map left to go here.
Yeah, and just look at the side of Canada right now. Their UR bar, their concentration bar, is just right there in the center. There's no rooms of mistake. They're showing no signs of mistake. They're all hitting super right at the time, and everyone's still holding 99.85% plus. May now leading the accuracy with a near 99.9, but anything can still happen. We saw in previous Rice pick, May have a couple of hiccups. The Man 234 also have some hiccups as well. It can still happen, but they need to happen right now. We're already nearly at the end of the map. There's not much more notes left. This might be it for Russian Federation, unless a miracle happens, but we're not seeing it right now. The Canadians, they want to end this. Oh, sorry. You can go.
No, you're good. Last couple of streams beginning to rain down here, and last note rains down, and that will do it. Canada successfully managing to close it out, getting that first breakpoint and immediately capitalizing on it to finish this match out by a score of 5-2. And what a team score from them. 995Ks across the board. May showing the extra credit, 996K for them. To MVP the lobby, Noobco doing everything in their power to try and match, but ultimately gonna fall just short as Canada punched their ticket into the winners quarterfinals.
Yeah, they're going to be facing either the winner of China or Malaysia, while the Russian Federation, they're going to face against actually, I think we already have a match already, so they're going to be facing France, so a bit of an EU matchup there. That'll be very interesting to see. But congratulations to the Russian Federation, but it's not over just yet. They still have the losers bracket. But Canada, they're going to stab their ticket into the quarterfinals, and what a team's performance right here. And that's the likes of Sawdust and Halo, May, the man 234 Tonk, and Robert right there. Rodon Nemesis did not play, but I expect later down the line we might see them showing up a bit more. And wow, what a performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Commiserations to Russia, but gonna have the next weekend really take care of business there. But with that will do it for this match. And I mean, there's still plenty more action here to come. But I mean, Nash, you got anything else left to add before we sign off here? Maybe some extra credit we can potentially get as supporters here.
Oh, hold on. I think I know what time it is. Banner time.
Oh, you're speaking my language now.
Oh yeah, it's banner time, because if you check on the Osu store, it is $250 for a banner, and there's no limit on your configuration. You can get as many countries and as many of them as you wanted to show your support to the country. And if one of your country do win the Mania World Cup 2025, you get to keep the design, the banner, the amazing design made by the World Cup design team. You get to keep it for a whole year. For the price of $250, mind you, you can get it is super cheap, and I highly advise you to get it because it makes your banner 100% more better. And with that, I think that ends my segment on the Osu store.
Very, very well said. But we'll go ahead and close things out here. We got another match coming up in just a couple hours, so stay tuned. But we'll catch you guys later.